when you're going to be alone. But I've got all of you, hopefully, joining me here today. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Broadcasting to Your Community, a show about live streaming and networking and other fun stuff too, right? It's not just all about live streaming, but we do talk about live streaming as our main focus and how we use Be Live TV, now Be Live Studio 2, which is an amazing product, amazing service, I should say. And Stephen Healy is off today. It's a bank holiday in the United Kingdom. And he's also been telling me it's been really hot there. So they're getting out and about and probably trying to stay cool somewhere. So he might even be watching. But so I'm multitasking here. And I got to close this Facebook thing because I've got things are lighting up. Let me see here. And this is a nice thing about live. Really, it's just a conversation, right? I'm gonna do. And he's also been telling me. Really? That's not. I don't need to hear myself. Getting out and about. And no. Probably trying to stay cool. Now you're gonna get an echo. Right on. Hey, Ronnie Fraser, how you doing, mister? Now I have to say, Ronnie, if I saw your comment because, and this is a good lead into some things to talk about today. So I see your comment on my personal timeline, but this video originated on the Show with David Burrows page. So in order for me to actually see your comments, you have to be watching. There's a link in the description above. And if you're not watching directly from that, because we are simulcasting on about 5 different Facebook hubs, different pages, but I'll only see your comments from the Show with David Burrows page, not my personal timeline, Ronnie, where you just clicked. I saw it because I'm watching somewhere else. But if I hadn't seen that, I wouldn't have seen you with me. Am I confusing? So come on over to the Show with David Burrows page if you're watching. And that way, if you make your comments, then I will be able to see your comments. There's Ronnie Fraser. Now he caught it. So for those of you just joining, there's a link in the description above. If you want to make sure I see your comments, you have to click on that link and watch from there. Otherwise, like I say, I've shared this video in many different places. We are being simulcast in the United Kingdom, Australia, where else? South Africa, all throughout the United States. So there we go. Hey, Mr. Wilson. He's clicked on that link as well. I know there were some others like Jamie and Keith that were watching. Come on over to the Show with David Burrows page. Click on that link above so I can see your comments. And I'm going to let's click on a couple things here. So as I said, Stephen Healy, well, he left me for the day. So you've got me all to yourself. And I guess someone never really asked before directly. And we'll go to the agenda here now. And well, first of all, I mean, welcome to the show, right? I mean, appreciate you being here on the show every week. Normally, Stephen Healy from United Kingdom joining me here. And we do this show called Broadcasting to Your Community, where we talk about live streaming, but we talk about other fun stuff too. And you never know who's going to show up. And speaking of which, I'm going to share a guest link. And if you are watching and you would like to join me on screen on the show and talk to me about what we're talking about or just anything, as long as it's positive, I'd be happy to have you join me. It's not hard to do. You click on the link. You do it from your webcam on your computer, or if you have a smart device, iPhone or Android, you can click on that link. Free app. Anyway, just click on the link, follow the instructions. One of the things about live streaming, and actually there's a good example happening as we speak that I'll share with you. One of the great things about live streaming is the networking opportunities that come along with it. And if you want to meet people, if you want to expand your horizon, so to speak, in that sense of the whatever that statement, we've all heard it. You know, step out of the box, expand your horizons. Really, if you want to grow yourself at the end of the day, live streaming is a great way to do that. Now, I understand a lot of people don't like to get in front of the camera. Let me ask this question to those of you who are watching. Have you ever thought of live streaming, but you were afraid to do it? Have you ever wanted to do live streaming, but you were afraid to do it for whatever reason? Whether you're afraid to get in front of the camera, you don't like the sound of your voice, you don't think you'd look good, and sounds like my boy's cutting the grass outside my studio here. That's all right. I'd like to know, for those of you who are watching, have you ever thought of trying to live stream? Maybe you didn't know how to get started. Maybe you didn't know what to talk about. Answer your comments. Share your comments with me so I can respond to them there. But it is something that many people I've talked to say, I wish I could do that, but I'm afraid, or I don't know where to start, or what software to use. I can help you with all of that. Stephen Healy and I are both super huge fans of this BeLive Studio 2. It's now called BeLive Studio 2 with some fantastic features in it. For example, if I had a guest, everything's all pre-done here for you. I guess what I could do, actually, let's just demonstrate. I can actually add another camera. You want to see two of me? Oh, that's scary, I know. Let's do that for you. Oh, there's trouble. Okay, we don't need you seeing that side of me. All right, we're going to play a little here. There we go. You ready for double vision? Oh, wow. And then there's two of me, right? So you can... there you go. Hey, Ryan. How you doing, mister? Appreciate you stopping by. Lots of people stopping by. Yes, and the reason I got to close this because I'm getting distracted. So many people are commenting. It is my wife, Jennifer, and mine 2-year anniversary of being married. Been together for 9 years, so of course we post something and say I love you and all that stuff. So everybody's wishing us a happy anniversary. So that's fantastic. I appreciate that. Left side looks older. You're funny. You're funny, Mr. Werschler. For those of you who are watching, we're talking about live streaming. And have you ever thought of live streaming? When you wanted to live stream, but you were afraid, or you didn't know how to get started, or what to talk about, or you just don't like the way you look on camera? Okay, you only need one of me. Send me a comment. Let me know if you've ever thought of live streaming, wanted to live stream. Yes or no? Now, what I can show you here, and this is going to be fun. One of the great things about BeLive Studio 2 is everything's all set up for you. If you can just click on a few buttons, you'll know it. So, for example, I can share my screen with you, which is there's the software, or the online software that we use called BeLive Studio 2, right? So you can see, here's my little mousey in the middle, all right? You're going to get let's get rid of that. So you have all the controls. So I can connect your cameras, right? So you can choose camera, as you can see. And here is share screen, which is what I'm doing right now. The other cool thing is if you have a guest, they can share their screen, right? So if you have a guest talking about stuff and they want to show you, share their screen. Over here, add media button. This is where you can add pictures. And the cool thing about this is you can upload pictures from your computer, or you can put them, take them from your Facebook page, for example. Let's do that. So I've created, okay, well, this is for the show later today that I haven't updated, right? And then I can add these images in, right? So I could do this. Let's take that out here. Clickety click, Bob a trick. Then you've got all these different layouts here, so you can click and it does that, or click and it does that, click and it does that. Which one do you like? Click and it does that. I like this one. There we go. If you can do it by clicking, you can do it. One of the new features as well, and Facebook has just brought this in, is you can now sell stuff. If you got stuff you want to sell, you can go live on Facebook, and with BeLive Studio 2, be connected into the Facebook system that allows you to sell stuff. That's right, through the power of live streaming and BeLive Studio 2. Now, I haven't used this yet. I'm a tiny bit familiar with it. I know what its operation is. Stephen Healy has a Udemy course, a free Udemy course, which I don't have the link for. Sorry, Stephen. You can sell stuff. Have an online garage sale. How about that, right? Maybe we'll get Stephen to talk about that next week. Stephen will be here next week. I will not be here next week. Well, at least I won't be on the show here next week. We have our Labor Day parade here in Sarnia, and I'll be broadcasting that live here in Sarnia down by City Hall. So that's why I won't be around. Text on screen. Well, there you go. For example, we have a crawler here, or a ticker, as I like to call them. Right? And you can also put text on the screen. How cool is that, right? See, I'm not really like I'm no fancy smart guy. We'll leave that going. You can create an agenda. Here's the agenda I've set up for today. And you can change your colors and design and all that sort of stuff as well. So I'm not going to go into all that, but I wanted to give you an idea that if you've ever thought of live streaming, you should just do it, right? Here's another one of the cool things. So my friend Ryan, he likes to make fun of me. You can show the person's comments on the screen. Look at that. If this is your first time experiencing BeLive Studio 2, I'm thinking you should be impressed. There's Ronnie saying anniversary day. Yeah, thanks, Ronnie. Ronnie, we should meet up sometime because I see you following all of my stuff. And I'm so grateful for you following and liking and sharing all the stuff that I do. I really appreciate it. I'd like to buy you a coffee if we could make that happen. And who else is out there? Let's see. Donna G. Happy anniversary. So glad you found her. I love Tribe. Okay, wow. Thank you for the wishes there, Donna. Swap Shop was big in the 80s. Swap Shop, do you know they still have that on CHOK? Every Saturday morning after the morning news at 7:30, I believe they still have Swap Shop on CHOK 103.9 FM 1070 AM CHOK. See, I could do that. I could have been. I'm not a radio broadcaster. A lot of people come up to me and say, "Oh, you're the guy from the radio, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, no, I'm not a radio broadcaster. I do work at the radio station. I will say that. I do what they call me a producer, but really I'm a board operator. So when the personalities at the radio are out live on remote somewhere, I'm the guy in the studio that goes, okay, 10 seconds to air, and I stop the music and I start to play the commercials. I do all that kind of stuff, but I'm not on air. You will hear my voice on there once a week on CHOK, as they run a spot that promotes my weekly community show that'll be on later this afternoon. So that's what it is. But I do appreciate it when people come up and say, hey, you're that guy. That's cool. Yeah, they still have Swap Shop. Kelly says happy anniversary, David Jenner. Thank you, Kelly Shoddy, another huge supporter here on the show. Yeah, they do. They still have Swap Shop on CHOK Saturday morning, 7:30 a.m. I'm sure Kelly is a avid listener. He'd be the guy looking for the bargains, right? If you'd like to join, there is a guest link posted in the comments on the show page here in this discussion, and if you click on that link, it'll bring you into a private lobby, and I'll see you. And then, come on, I'm putting the challenge out there. Which one of those of you, which one of those of you, several folks that are watching, are going to join me today? Who's going to come on camera? Do I have a prize for you? I don't know. Could I come up with something? There you go. I'll give you this. I have a Coors Light guitar belt buckle. If you're in Sarnia and if you're not in Sarnia, I don't care. I will get this to you. Yo. Oh, Brandon Schramm, all the way from out of town, was having a weird thing happen. I was commenting, and it was not showing up. Refresh page, and it's working now. There you go. A refresh is like a reboot on a modem or a computer. Even these things, you really need to reboot them often. I don't even know how to shut this one off. I think I press and hold both. Yes. Every time I get a new phone, right, you got to figure out how to turn it on or off. So anyway, those of you just joining now, thanks for stopping by. We're talking about live streaming and other fun stuff. We can talk about whatever you want. You've thought about live streaming? Haha, you're funny. Brandon is part of the WeStream team from St. Catharines area. And we often do some work with them. They hire out my company, the Video Show Network, to live stream stuff. So when I talk about live streaming, it's not necessarily there's Brandon. He's going to join us in just a moment. It's not necessarily just about doing a talk show, but there's so many great possibilities with the power of live streaming. Like, yes, doing this and doing talk shows, that's fantastic. You can sell stuff. And as Brandon's going to come on and tell you, we're going to talk about WeStream as soon as I get my ears in. And all right. He's thought about live streaming. I'm warning you folks watching, he's very, very, very dry, sarcastic sense of humor. So I should probably put up the disclaimer on the screen right now. He'll probably behave himself, but you never know. Brandon Schramm, how you doing?
Good. How are you, David? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you just fine. Yes.
Should I put on a special earpiece as well, or?
Well, you know how it works. If we start getting an echo, we'll make you do that.
Okay.
So where are you coming to us from? You're in St. Catharines, right?
Yeah, I'm in the basement office in St. Catharines, Niagara, Ontario. Oh, there I am on the screen there. That's here. I'm gonna have to minimize that.
Get rid of him.
Yeah, that's me, and I'm one of those guys that usually doesn't like to be on camera, but because I'm just staring at my phone right now, I don't really feel like I'm on camera. So,
well, this is a good. I'm glad you said that, because I don't know how long you've been watching, but I was talking earlier about, like, if you've ever wanted to live stream, what has stopped you? And one of the things that has stopped a lot of people is what we call camera confidence, right? People don't like to look at themselves, or don't like to hear the sound of their own voice. Is that you? You just don't like to see yourself, or?
Well, I really like to see myself every morning. Just part of the day, really.
Right.
No, I just guess it's just. I guess you're just a little bit insecure, and you're not used to it. And I guess if you did it a little bit and got some good feedback, then you would just like to do it. But
well, it's one of those things. Yeah, it is a confidence thing, right? I think people are, well, what if I run out of things to, we worry, I think, about people judging us. Oh, he sounds silly, or he doesn't look right, or his hat's on crooked, or whatever, that kind of stuff, right? But I just say go live, right? Fix your hat. I just say go live. Like, what's anybody going to do? They're going to fire you?
Well, yeah, I mean, and you don't think about it when you're just talking to people and out in real life. You don't, you're not self-conscious when you're just talking to people and going out and socializing. So what's the difference?
Yeah. Well, it's a lot easier too. Like, I mean, I don't have a problem talking, obviously. So I'm one of those people that I can do a whole hour show by myself and get through it, no problem. But then when you have someone here to talk to, it's just like we're just hanging out and we're just having a conversation. But yeah, I guess there's other people watching. Hopefully they're watching.
I can see there's a few there.
Yeah.
I was more worried about what was behind me, but it's going to show up the mess, and so I kind of closed the door there a little bit, and I don't have a nice studio like you do. But,
well, if I were to turn the camera a little bit, you'd see the door to the bathroom behind me. So there is a little bit of trick photography going on here.
That's
Yeah,
what
there
mine
you
is
go.
right there.
Right. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
nice and
funny.
close.
Now, you guys, and I see we got Dom. I see you in the lobby, buddy. I'll bring you in a few moments. You got. Oh, I'm getting an echo. You must be listening to yourself somewhere.
Nope, I got it on mute.
Oh, it might be. That's Dom there. I'm going to mute him for a moment. Okay. Real quick, we'll just talk about WeStream. Tell everybody what WeStream does and what kind of things you've been up to lately.
Well, WeStream is a multi-camera live broadcasting service. We do all kinds of stuff, from sports to funerals, weddings, anything that you want live streamed remotely. We can do it. We're based in Niagara. We've serviced basically Ontario. I'm on my way to Thunder Bay actually in a couple weeks to do an AGM up in Thunder Bay for the Community Living Ontario. But we do streams for 6 different municipalities in Niagara. We're crossing our fingers that Doug Ford does not kill that for us.
Right.
Shrink it all down into 1 or 2. But we do things for Ontario Volleyball, the Canadian Military. We do all their sport championships up in Borden and Trenton Air Force Base. And lots of other things. We did our first Jewish wedding a couple weeks ago, which was very interesting and very actually amazing, to be honest. And we got a request this weekend to try to do a funeral in Toronto. Unfortunately, we couldn't do, but we do anything you want live streamed, recorded, multi-camera, wireless cameras, and between Kevin and myself, and of course David helps us a few times here and there as well as Jason. Glad to hear he's out there cutting the grass. I would love to get a live stream camera on him cutting the grass. So.
It doesn't happen very often.
Cutting the grass or him doing it?
Well, it's him doing it. It's been pretty dry around here, so he's had a pretty easy summer, and we've let him go. He does Uber Eats on his e-bike.
Oh, good for him.
And
that's cool.
He's doing great, and it gets him out away from me. Get out of the house.
Yeah, I'm getting.
Well, that's great. And of course we've established a good relationship between us both doing live streaming and connecting together on that. But it's really interesting how people, at least I know in my neck of the woods anyway, people are starting to catch on to that live streaming thing. Even a year ago, 2 years ago, for me anyway, it was like people were like, yeah, I know it's live streaming is, and I know it can be done, but they weren't seeing really the full value in doing live streaming, because you and I would agree everybody should just live stream everything. If you want people to know about it, live stream it. It's a whole new way of promoting yourself and putting yourself out there, right down to a wedding. There's people who can't be there, so you live stream it. I do parades. There are people that are stuck inside that can't get out, so we're able to reach pretty much everybody now, right?
Yeah, and people, for those of us who have Kojiko, you always hear the older generation, oh, is it on Kojiko? Do you have it on Kojiko? But meanwhile, it's not as exciting sometimes for people, and it's starting to get more that, where do you live stream it? Oh, we're live on YouTube or Facebook or whatever like that. So it is starting to become more expected, and I've always kind of maintained that in the coming years, maybe even months, but you'll hear about your nephew's soccer game and championship, and you'll just say, well, where is the live stream? Not you'll find out that it is being live streamed. It'll be a surprise. It'll be more
not
like
what channel is it on.
Yeah, exactly. And that's eventually where, and that's what YouTube's trying to get to, right? YouTube TV, and then starting to have people have it right at their fingertips or on their phones or their computers, no problem.
Yeah. Well, and I find that even with my my afternoon show later on today, people go, well, I watch you on TV. I'm like, no, I'm not. They're like, no, because they are watching it on their TV as the live stream. They've got an app or YouTube app or whatever they're watching it on their TV. And they're, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. But I agree. Where people are going to just say, where can I find that? Where do I watch that? Not what channel is it on? Yeah, and
it's so new, right? I mean, we're in our 4th year now, and really 3 years strong of doing solid streaming. And 4 years ago, you couldn't do what WeStream does, basically the way we do it. And the Jewish wedding, for example, you mentioned that somebody couldn't be there. The wedding that we did was for a grandmother that lived in California, in Los Angeles. She was not able to make it because her husband was ill. And she was basically the only person that watched it. We were her eyes. We were told to go to this person, to that person. We had somebody at the wedding guiding us to do what grandma wanted to see. And she watched it on a 60-inch smart TV. One of her granddaughters there had asked us to help her out, and we did, and threw over the phone. Next thing you know, boom, she was watching the live stream, 3.5 hours wedding, being grandma's eyes, going to see uncle this and brother that and cousin this and the bride and the dance and the whole 9 yards. So it was really
being able to share that memory for someone who otherwise wouldn't have been able to, that's implanted in her brain now for the rest of her life, right? And the fact that, so it sounds like you were walking around mobile to people and they were saying hi to her and all that sort of stuff. So she was there.
And what we were doing, and for those of us like yourself and others that are in this sort of business, what we were doing was really actually pretty groundbreaking, and being able to walk around this huge hotel in 5 different rooms with a mobile internet and a stable camera and 2 different sources of audio, and basically doing what I guess we are professionals as well, but what you'd expect from CBC and CTV and all these sort of cameras to places, but it would cost thousands and tens of 20s of thousands of dollars, right? So
yeah, that's right. Well, Brandon, thanks for jumping on and taking the risk of putting yourself in front of that camera. And nice chatting with you. And we'll be talking to you soon, I'm sure.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, David. Have a good day.
So there, our friend Brandon Stram joining us in from Niagara area from the company WeStream, WeStreem. So We 2E Stream. And Brandon, his partner, Kevin Jack, who's been on here before as well. You never know who's going to show up. That's what we say, right? You never know who's going to show up. And speaking of which, my next guest, Dom Fernandez, is here to join me. Hey, Dom, how are you?
Not bad, Dave. I just finished my video chat with Dolly Cortez.
Yeah, right. Well, and that was a good phone call, I'm assuming, or a good video chat. And that kind of leads, you couldn't have timed it any better, because it kind of leads into one of the things that I wanted to talk about here today. Okay. And we were just talking about, are you a live streamer and where do you live stream, and people being afraid to live stream. And we had Brandon on there who doesn't normally like to get in front of the camera. He's usually the guy behind the camera. Yeah. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was, how do you network? And that's something that live streaming is very powerful tool to network with, and you're an example of how that's happened. So did you want to go just back a little bit and tell the story about you and Dolly?
First time I actually even heard Dolly's name was when she was on your show with what's that woman's name? She's on my Facebook now too. So
who, Anita?
Yeah, Anita, that wrote the book.
Yes. You know what? Hang on. Don't go.
Yep.
I got the book.
There you go. Yeah. So Dolly wants to talk to me, and again with my sister Shirley.
Yep.
Happens to be my power of attorney.
Yes.
And go through if Shirley has time, and maybe have Dolly help me write a book on my journey. I forwarded her the video from my public speech that you live streamed for me.
Right.
And, she was quite interested in that video.
Fantastic. Well, don't forget us little people when you make $1 million.
But no, she seems genuinely interested, and as am I.
Yeah. Well, and that turned out to, and this is the book that we're talking about. Anita Myers wrote, The Undercover Superhero, and fantastic. I just got started on it the other day. She sent me a personal autographed copy. I'm very grateful for that. But Dolly Cortez from Rose Gold Publishing was on my show a few weeks ago.
Yeah. That's
and that's how you guys connected, right?
I made a comment and she commented back. I clicked on the link and I found her and then added her to Facebook.
Yeah. It's really a whole new way of networking. I mean, a lot of times we think of networking of going, out to a meeting somewhere or a gathering,
Yeah.
and that's still is important, and you have to do those things. But I mean, I've met Stephen Healy through broadcasting. I've met Anita. I have a huge list of people
Yeah.
from around the planet, from Australia to Africa to Canada, all through. But for you've got some obvious limitations. Getting out isn't as easy for you as it is for a lot of the rest of us. So this is really extra special of a tool for you, right?
Exactly. And like you said, you live stream all the local parades and everything, and and again, like you said, I can't get out, so I watch your live stream of the parades and stuff while you've seen my setup on my TV. And it makes it a little bit easier for me. And because I can't, definitely can't get out for the Christmas parade because I just can't take the cold.
Right.
So I watch it when you live stream it.
Yeah. And that's that was one of the original reasons for me starting a live stream business. I didn't actually originally think of it becoming a live stream business, but it was actually my mother who lives at a local retirement home or nursing home or whatever the political correct word is.
Long-term care facility.
Okay, all right. I knew you might have the answer. But yeah, so the long-term care facility down at Marshall Willand Manor, and she can't get out like many others. And then there's folks like yourself who have, accessibility restraints.
Yeah.
And it was her that put the idea in my head. She goes, "Oh, I wish I could see the parade," And I know our local cable company does that as well for some stuff, but not everything, right? So. Yeah. I wanted to be able to bring that out. And so, for example, this weekend, I'll be broadcasting the Labor Day Parade.
Yep.
So
I won't be able to get out for that, but I've got my birthday present that I'm giving to myself on the 2nd.
What are you giving yourself?
Another tattoo.
Oh, how did I know?
Yeah. This one's going to hurt.
Oh, yeah? Why?
Because I'm shaving my head and it's going on the top of my head.
What are you?
That's not for punishment.
Tom, I've known you a long time. I've probably about 23 years now. I'm really not surprised.
I'm getting actually probably closer to 25 there, Dave. I think I was 18, 19. You were doing karaoke at Gutterball's restaurant at Marson Bowl.
Oh, wow. Are you kidding me? That was 30 years ago. No, not quite. No, I was 25. Were you sneaking in underage back in the day?
Well, being that it was a restaurant, they would let us in, but I did get served.
Yeah, of course you did.
Oh.
Wow, you're really dating both of us here. Yeah, it's got to be closer to 25.
On this year, my birthday, it's funny. I would love to be able to make it up to Port Dover because it's Friday the 13th.
Yeah, and I'm not. We looked at going, but I might be going somewhere else. Port Dover has just gotten so packed.
Yeah.
That there's another one that's going to be out in Ipperwash, I believe. And it's called Move Over Dover.
Oh, that's a little bit closer than Port Dover.
And there probably won't be as many.
Right.
They're trying to take some of the overflow from. I've never been to Friday the 13th at Port Dover. For those of you who don't know, Friday the 13th, whenever there's a Friday the 13th in the calendar, and it doesn't matter if it happens in December, motorcycle enthusiasts go to a place called Port Dover and just gather. and a whole bunch of stuff goes on. And it just has gotten so crazy that now Ipperwash, which is about 30 minutes away from us, they've started something called Move Over Dover. So that's what we're discussing right now. But I don't know if I'm going to make it to, I'm definitely not going to Port Dover, but we're looking at going to Move Over Dover, even if it's just for a few hours.
That sounds interesting. Like yesterday, I just spent the day out at Rock Glen.
Oh, yeah.
With my family and to celebrate everybody's birthday, who has their birthday in August, and also is a kind of a birthday anniversary type thing.
Right.
Shirley and Terry are celebrating their anniversary on the 31st.
Oh, wow.
And they've been married. She's probably going to kick me, but we've got to be over 25, 26 years.
Long time. Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this question. I was about to ask you. So if you were to, so how did you get to Rock Glen then? Because you obviously couldn't use Leo for that.
Well, actually, I did use Leo for that.
Really?
Lambton Elderly Outreach will take me up as far as Ingersoll.
Wow.
Yeah, they took me up there 6 years ago for my buddy's wedding, and they couldn't find the church. They were late, so Brent knew that I was coming, and they held up the wedding until I got there.
Nice.
So,
so you could go to Ipperwash then.
I can get to Ipperwash with Leo. They'll take me down to Grand Bend or.
Is there an extra fee in that?
No, actually, it's one set fee, and because I am disabled and whatnot, I do get some subsidy from the government. Hopefully, that doesn't get cut out.
Right.
But if you didn't have subsidy from the government, if you were to go to London, round trip is $80.
Well, that's not too bad.
No, it's not too bad, but with subsidy, I believe it's like $37.50 or $37.25.
But that still can be a lot of money for somebody like you you're like on a fixed income. So you kind of so when you come to karaoke, then you have to pay a portion. You pay a portion for Leo to bring you to the karaoke and back.
Actually, when I went and seen you karaoke on Friday night there, I brought Caravan. That cost me $3. And then I booked the wheelchair taxi to go home, and that cost me maybe $12. So
right,
$15 in total. And I think, my sister wouldn't let me buy my pop that night,
right?
Just because she says, "Well, I'm your big sister," and I'm like, "I don't care," but she wouldn't let me buy my own pop.
Well,
so,
big sisters do that. I have one of those too.
Yeah. So that night only cost me maybe $15.
Yeah. Well, and that's a good night of entertainment for you, especially since you like to. We know you like to sing karaoke, and I know it's a lot easier since I got you that wireless headset. We can just plug you in and turn you on, and when we don't want to hear you anymore, we can just shut you off.
Well, I was glad to see a lot of regulars from Rock and Roll show up there.
There's quite a few from different, I want to say different generations of karaoke because I've done it for 30 years, right? But it was there was a good. I had 25 singers at one point, plus everybody else. We probably had a good 50 people in that room at one point.
Give or take, but I ended up having to leave early because I had the wheelchair taxi booked, and used to drive cab, so bar rush is the time for them to make their tips.
Yeah.
So I didn't want to cut into the driver's bar rush, so he didn't make any money. So.
Yeah, well, that's good thinking. Well, speaking of networking again as well, so you connected with Dolly and Anita, and There's somebody else you connected with recently as well, and now you guys are doing a show together. Talk about that.
That's Kurinder Singh, actually. He's in the UK. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's in Chamberlain.
Yes, I believe so.
Anyway, we started our own page and talk show that we do together every Wednesday at 12 o'clock Eastern. It's called Your Favorite Disabilities, True Stories with Kurinder and Domingos.
I'm just looking that up so I can share it.
Your favorite disabilities, true stories with Kurinder and Domingos.
That's a long title.
Well, it was actually Kurinder's idea. He approached me.
Right.
So, and of course, I'm not going to turn down to share information and talk about different disabilities. Like that page and that talk show is not just about one specific disability. It's about all disabilities.
Yeah, and you're referring to, because you have a page yourself, Talking MS.
Yeah, a page and a group called Talking MS.
Yeah.
Which actually my followers have grown. Getting up closer to 400 followers now.
Yeah. Well, it takes time, right?
Yeah. Like you had said before, it does take time. There is. I actually posted. You see it there. The video that you live streamed for me.
We got 5,466 views on that video that was done back in February.
Yeah, February 20th.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a lot of views.
It sure is.
And that video that you just scrolled back from, that was my Talking MS show, and I brought up about Friday night. I did that show Saturday.
Yeah.
And then I decided to add in the karaoke on the following Sunday, which was yesterday, but I wasn't able to go because I had my family function.
Yeah.
Or otherwise, I would have been there in a heartbeat.
Well, and again, there's the other, the topic of networking. I mean, without even knowing, you're sharing somebody else's stuff and promoting them, and then it kind of works both ways, right? And it's a good collaboration.
Yeah.
So thanks for doing that.
Oh, not a problem. And Kurinder does the same. He shares the shows with his followers on his personal Facebook and stuff. And but Kurinder he's a great guy. So, and I appreciate him asking me to do a show with him.
Yeah. Well, you guys, and you've got some things in common, and you both like to live stream and enjoying that. So
yeah,
there's the Talking MS page as well, folks, if you want to check that out.
I had a friend back in July say, you can make money off live streaming. I'm like, I'm not out to make money off live streaming. For me, it's more, believe it or not, I don't know how I came up with this because, well, live streaming is my hobby.
Right.
And I thought, well, it's my hobby and I'm helping people, so it's my hobby to help.
Right.
So
good point. Yeah, well, we all have different. I do, earn an income from live streaming in multiple ways, but that's my living. But I'm also fortunate enough that it's something I love to do, and there's a lot of live streaming I do that is free because I support a lot of different groups, and I like to help you. I helped you get set up there and kind of showed you, and then I kind of let you go off on your own, and there you go. Now, next thing you know, and I'm pretty proud of that. It got you started. Now you've met Dolly, and you've met Corinder. You started your own show. You're starting another show, and a year from now, who knows, right? What you'll be doing.
My week it gets pretty packed up fast. Like I do my show three times a week. And then the one show with Corinder, so that's 4 shows in a week.
Yeah.
So.
And how long is the show with Corinder? Like, is it half hour, an hour, or what's going to happen there?
Yeah, never know. Sometimes they can be. And our first show together, I believe, was just under an hour. But it could go longer. But we're. I gotta get in touch with Corinder to see what we're gonna talk about this Wednesday, which
right.
Disability, and like you say, you never know where it's gonna go.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I'm super proud of you taking it on and doing it, and as I've told you before, like you certainly got a real positive mindset of dealing with the situation that you have to deal with every day, and you're a good example to a lot of people for how to stay positive.
Yeah, actually, I never mentioned that to Dolly when we did our conference call. I couldn't hook up to Zoom for some reason, so we did it through Facebook Messenger. But I was going to mention to her that if you ask David about my positivity, and he'll probably tell you I'm one of the most positive people you'll meet.
Yep.
So, and I'm sure she'll probably catch the show after.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping Shirley and Terry show up soon.
Well, if you need some quotes for the book, maybe some stories, I've got a few stories that I could tell about Dom.
Well, she was actually when I told the story about having my ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend over, when he asked me that question, would I rather live in jail with a chance to get out or live the way that I am? And I had said that I would rather live in jail with that chance of getting out, because with MS, your body is a jail.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you'll never get out of it. So it's a life sentence, but what you choose to do with that life sentence, that's up to you.
Good words. Dom, I'm gonna end it there, because that's a great way to end our conversation, and I appreciate you jumping on and joining me today.
Perfect.
And we'll look forward for you being alive the rest of the week, buddy.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
My dear good friend and longtime friend of about 25 years, Dom Fernandez, joining me. He, if you didn't catch on to that, he suffers from MS, multiple sclerosis, and he has chosen to share his story through the power of live streaming, and he's been able to network with other people, and now starting his own shows and other shows with other people. So it all comes back full circle to what we were talking about at the beginning, as to how live streaming can help you grow your circles, yourself as a person, and how you can learn. It's okay to just watch too. Kelly Shoddy will probably never come on camera. I don't know why, because he's pretty chatty when you get him chatting. But anyway, networking is a big part. It's a new way to network, is using live streaming to network. And as you can see there, again, example of Dom Fernandez having success with that. And through meeting, again, our friends Dolly Cortez from Rose Gold Publishing, who I met through Stephen Healy. And then I had my first international guest on the live show, Anita Myers, the Undercover Superhero. It's available on Amazon. and I'm enjoying it so far. And if you want to tell a story, you can reach out to Dolly Cortez, or just reach out to Dom, and he'll show you how to get in touch with as well. I'm going to cut it just a little bit short today because I've got a tight schedule. And I think we've had a good conversation here. I want to say thanks to Kelly and to my friend Keith and everybody else who's been here watching today, my friend Dom, Brandon Schramm, and everybody else for joining. This is broadcasting to your community, where we talk about live streaming and other fun stuff. I will be live later today on my weekly community show, The Show with David Burrows, here on this page as well, on The Show with David Burrows. And we're going to have some exciting guests. And my first guest, right around at 3:30 when we start, we're going to have 4 guests today. Holy cow. Am I a busy boy or what? Lee Cunningham from the Sarnia Sting is going to be joining me and talking about the upcoming season of the Sarnia Sting, the OHL hockey team here in Sarnia, and some other great guests as well. If you want to see who they are, you can head on over to my Facebook page. That's all the time I got for you right now, folks. Thanks for watching. Until later on this afternoon, bye for now.